my name is Rosie Flores, and this is my son Nicolas, and we're here to talk about how Straight Talk and Phyllis McNeal has helped us during our process in the recovery. And it's been 3 years since I've been sober and clean, and I have gone through numerous experiences in my recovery process, and Phyllis McNeal has been there with me through the whole time. She has been my mentor. She has helped me through finance problems, getting through job applications, helping me with my resume, helping me learn how to deal with people, and in turn I have spoke for her at high schools and wherever else she has needed me, to children and young adults that are troubled. Being around Phyllis has taught me how to become a woman. I have been a child my whole 40 years. And being around her, she's taught me how to become a lady and how to be responsible and honest and how to do a job right and how to raise my son, most importantly, with kindness and a low tone in my voice, a great attitude. She helps me learn how to carry it, not just around her but with other people as well. And she's taught me how to persevere in my education, and Phyllis has helped me put my priorities in order. Priorities now are being a good mother to my son, being drug free, so my recovery is number one, putting God number one, and my education. I am a full-time college student at RCC, and if it wasn't for Phyllis, I don't even know if I would have continued with school. She has helped me and pushed me to persevere. My major is social work, and I plan on helping people. I'm not really sure where God wants me to go at this moment, but I'm going to focus on, keeping my eye on the prize and getting good grades, because that's important to transfer to Cal Poly. So as of now, I'm just focusing on what's in front of me.
My name is Nicolas, and this is my mommy. She does the right thing. She always goes to school on the right day. She does not use drugs. She does not use weapons. I trust my mom all the time. She is the best mom in the whole wide world. Phyllis McNeal is a nice person. She always looks after me. Sometimes when I work, she gives me money, like a $5 bill. Her house is really nice, and she helps my mom, she helps herself, she helps me. Straight Talks helps people to not bank rob or do any more drugs. It's a really great organization.
My name is Rosie, and I am 40 years old. I was raised in foster homes and was sexually and physically abused. My mother was a prostitute in LA. My father was an alcoholic, and he used to beat on her. And somehow or another, CPS got a hold of that information and took us away from the home, and we became foster kids, a ward of the state. I was physically and sexually abused at a young age, 3 years old. I had to testify when I was 4, and then I went to stay with an aunt. And when I was 11 years old, my aunt, who was physically abusing me, and her boyfriend and her son were both molesting me, was trying to adopt me. And when the time came for me to be asked in front of the courts if she was abusing me, I answered yes. So they removed me from the home. And when they removed me from the home, they had nowhere to put me because I was so old. There was no foster care to take somebody at my age. So they had to put me in Los Padrinos juvenile hall. And I stayed there for a great amount of time. I'm not really sure how long. By the time they found a placement for me, it was a girls' home called Penny Lane in Sepulveda, California. And it was there that I learned how to run away and drink bleach to kill myself and do drugs. And I would run away from there and live in cardboard boxes and get with the people who did the drugs, and that's what I did. And I was very cold and very tired one night, and I decided I would rob somebody at Sepulveda Park and sleep in their car. Of course, they called the cops. Somebody got hit with a gun, and the cops caught me, and I was sentenced to 8 years and 4 months in the California Youth Authority. I was very scared. I was not. It felt like I was very numb to when I was sentenced, and I was, the victims came, and he was blind in one eye from that incident. I had no remorse. I didn't really care what happened to me because I really didn't have anybody, and I was just numb. There was no feeling at all for anything. But when I went to YA finally, after serving so much time in all the juvenile halls, Central and Sylmar juvenile halls, finally transferring to the California Youth Authority, the first week was very terrifying for me. I was scared because it became a gang-related, very racial environment, and not knowing which way was up or any of that, because growing up I wasn't allowed to have friends. I never was allowed to be around anybody. They kept me isolated as a child, so I didn't really know how to deal with anybody. I was very antisocial and just kind of followed what everybody of my race did, and found myself in a lot of trouble, on drugs, even at 12 in YA, and it stayed like that my whole time I was there. I did not parole till I was 18, and I didn't want to leave. That was my home. By the time I paroled, before I paroled, I would give myself tattoos or get in fights just to stay an extra 6 months. I didn't want to go nowhere because I had nowhere to go. And I was just going to parole to another foster home anyway. So I started sniffing gasoline. I was on the streets, on the run, on YA parole. And finally, the parole officer just decided to let me stay down here with a half-brother of mine. And I stayed on parole for 6 years. During that time, I was introduced to speed and heroin. As I went in and out of prison on violations and manufacturings, I had 3 kids, and my third child, I was so strung out on heroin and speed, I could not stop using with him. 10 years passed. After 13 different rehabs, I found myself getting beat by a guy, and once again, an IV drug user, no longer on parole or probation, no longer in drug court, and I just didn't see why going on living would have. I had no reason to. I did have a little 4-year-old boy, and he was with me, and it just seemed to me that was my only reason. The last time that my ex-boyfriend hit me in front of my child, I saw a spark go out in him, and it lit up something in me, and it made me want to go to rehab. So I left the guy and left everything behind and went into rehab with my child, and I have never looked back since. So it can be done, and for those who struggle with addiction like I have, and it's not just drugs, but it's alcohol, and it's food, and it's anger, and unless you find a 12-step program and you find somebody to help you, like I have with Phyllis, to get you through those tough times and learn how to sit on your hands and not go pick up a drink or a drug. It's really tough, especially in the beginning. And with no family and really no means of support, and it was only through God that I see that God has put people in my life to help me get sober and help me get clean now. And I could not imagine my life ever going back to where it used to be.
My mom was a drug user, but she stopped using because she went to AA, Cocaine Anonymous, because God can do anything. Me and my mom go to the church sometimes, and we get blessed by God. When I get blessed by God, it makes me feel really, 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 really happy.
And it's a blessing for me to help others. So what I do to give back now is I try to give back to my community, and I involve myself in different programs, share my story, my experience, my strength and my hope with organizations like Straight Talk. I'm living proof that people can change, a situation can change, no matter how hard it's. God can change, move mountains, no matter how big the mountain may be. You just have to reach out for help. I'm so grateful that I did.